In the headlines, former Attorney General Ayikoi Otoo withdraws from NPP chairmanship race. Families of two persons who died during Ejura shooting received 250,000 cedis each. World Bank confident in Ghana's economic turnaround. Minority calls on President Akufo-Addo to take responsibility for Ghana's economic challenges. And Education Minister commends local printing companies for delivering textbooks on large-scale contracts. Welcome to Graphic Online's News in Brief. One of the candidates for the chairmanship position in the upcoming New Patriotic Party national executive elections, Ayikoi Otoo, has withdrawn from the race. Addressing the press in Accra, the chairman of the elections committee, Peter McMenu, said Mr. Ayikoi Otoo wrote a letter to announce his withdrawal on Monday, July 4, 2022. Mr. Otoo, who is a former Attorney General under the Akufo administration, had been approved by the vetting committee of the party to contest in the race. With the election set to come on this July 16, the party has confirmed Mr. Otoo's decision not to contest anymore. With Mr. Otoo out, those left in the race are Stephen Ayesu, Stephen Asama-Boateng, George Kwabena Bankwa-Yeboah, Professor Christopher Meyer Ekumfi Akwesi-Osei, Gifty Ama Asantewa, and Sami Crab.
As a result of the diligence of the National Election Committee and the preparedness of the prospective aspirants, no appeals against the nomination of any prospective aspirant were recorded by the National Appeals Committee headed by Honorable Dan Boche. Honorable Ayikoi Otoo, who was vying for the position of National Chairman of the party, has however since withdrawn from the race.
An amount of 250,000 cedis has been paid as compensation to each of the families of the two persons who lost their life during the Ejura shooting incident on June 29, 2021. The Minister of the Interior, Ambrose Derry, told Parliament the compensation is meant to cushion the two families for their loss. The Interior Minister disclosed the compensation in response to a question by the MP for Ejura Sechidumase, Mohammed Bawa Brahima. The MP wanted to know when compensation would be paid to the victims. The two persons died following a clash between the youth of Ejura in the Ejura Sechidumase district of the Ashanti region and security personnel following the suspected murder of another youth.
The compensation that was paid to two families was a lump sum of 250,000 per each family. And Mr. Speaker, must emphasize that no amount of money can compensate for the loss of lives of people. And in these matters, as much as possible, what we try to do is to make sure that we can ameliorate the situation of the affected families. So we set up a committee, and there were prominent personalities, including the chief imam, and we went back and forth, and at the end, with the support of the chiefs in the area, there was finally this determination and presentation at the Deba, and I want to thank the families for graciously accepting this token for the loss of lives of their relatives.
The World Bank has expressed confidence in the leadership of President Akufo-Addo to turn the economy around despite the global economic crisis. According to the country director of the World Bank, Pierre Laporte, this was due to reforms made by President Akufo-Addo in key areas such as public finance and investment climate. Mr. Laporte was speaking during the launch of a $10 million tourism SME grant in Accra Wednesday. The grant is aimed at improving tourism performance by upgrading tourism sites and developing the capacity of players in the sector. Meanwhile, the minority caucus in Parliament is calling on President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Bawumia to take full responsibility for the economic challenges facing the country. According to them, going to the IMF for a bailout was as a result of the government's borrowing and unjustified expenditures. Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu addressed the press in Parliament Wednesday on the subject. And before we go, the Minister of Education, Dr. Osei Edichum, has commended local companies awarded contracts to print textbooks for basic schools for diligently executing their work. He says their work has proved that local printing companies have the capacity to deliver on a larger scale contracts. Dr. Edichum, who paid a working visit to one of the printers, Appointed Time Printing Limited in Accra, said he was impressed with the state of work and the high standards adopted by the company in printing the textbooks. He said the printing of the books has impacted positively on Ghana's economic growth and employment, and therefore expressed the government's commitment to make education accessible to all.
Graphic Online's News in Brief is brought to you by Graphic News Plus.
Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
Thank you for watching. For more news, please visit our website graphic.com.gh or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH. I am Juliet Echan Safo.